Hello, indie gaming fans! It's the Ex-Hardcore Gamer, and today I'm going to take you back to a time when things were simpler. Take you back to a time when games could have flaws, but we would still have fun with them. Oh my. Today we're going to be talking about Blackwind. Blackwind is a top-down sci-fi action game that borrows a lot from the twin-stick shooter genre. The story itself is extremely silly. It puts you in the shoes of a teenager who's trapped inside of a prototype battle armor suit. If that doesn't scream being written by an 8-year-old, I don't know what does. The teenager in question is the son of a very famous professor who's been working on this project, and he somehow could just stumble upon this suit and start using it, and even gets himself into the middle of a very big battle that all these high-ranking generals just let him right in. I could go on into more details of the story, but in the end, it really doesn't matter. Blackwind definitely harkens back to a simpler time when I was growing up in gaming and the stories were all super flimsy, and if ever you did get any voice acting, it was super bad. And that's exactly what you get here in this game. Everything is so nonsensical and poorly acted that I feel like that maybe it's just done on purpose. Now, maybe it's not, but either way, that's how the games were made back then. They had these flaws, and it didn't matter because what truly mattered was if the game was fun. So is it actually a fun game to play? That's an easy answer, and I can quickly, without any hesitation, say yes. So right away, you're going to find that the controls are very simple and easy to pick up and play. You can choose to either use a keyboard and mouse or a controller. It's up to you. I tried it with both methods and found both ways worked very well. There is the standard one stick moves, the other stick aims. You're going to have a trigger to shoot and face buttons to do melee attacks. There's also some other controls to be able to do some other special attacks or interacting with the environment. The majority of the game is going to just have you killing various enemies and unlocking points to be able to do more upgrades, but there will be some light puzzle elements as well, some of which will even include you controlling a separate drone. While there's nothing groundbreaking here, it's all about just going through a maze and finding the key to go to the next area and killing a bunch of people. It was just fun. There were all kinds of glitches and flaws that I found while playing it that normally would frustrate me, but because everything else worked so well, I just didn't care. Did you have that one favorite game growing up that was just janky as hell and you knew it, but there was just something about it that clicked with you? That's this game being made right now. We all know those game glitches that prevent you from doing well or moving on in a level, but thankfully that's not the kind that you're going to run into when playing Blackwind. There will be some camera issues because it is an automatic camera that you have no control over, so sometimes your view may be obscured. But it's as simple as just moving a little bit in one direction or another to get it back on track. And yeah, I will find some clipping of my character when he's doing some of his finishing moves, but in the end, it never made for any cheap deaths or prevented me from progressing, so I didn't get mad about it and I just moved on. The graphics of Blackwind are also pretty impressive with a lot of different graphical options when you're playing on the PC. Those of you that are familiar with my reviews will know that I have an NVIDIA RTX 2060 graphics card, which isn't the greatest card out there, but it's usually pretty good at running games at the 2K resolution. While that is a generation higher than the recommended GTX 1060, I feel like the recommended settings are more for keeping the game at 1080p. When playing at the 2K resolution, even when I changed some of the settings, there were times that I would get some dips in the frame rate below 60 frames per second. But when I put it at 1080p, I had everything at max settings and everything was within the 100 range. A lot of times when playing 3D indie games, I feel that the developers try too hard and go a bit beyond their means. And thankfully, that is not the case when playing Blackwind. Both the enemies and the environments in the game are nice, bright, and colorful and have plenty of detail. While I do feel like I should have been able to run it at 2K, I can understand why it might have some trouble because there are some scenes that look really great, especially when it comes to using lighting. It's not a graphical showcase that's going to compete with the latest AAA title, but I feel that the team should still be commended for the amount of effort that they've put in to make a very beautiful game. You've already heard about the bad voice acting, so I'm not going to harp on that and just move on to the rest of the sound department. The sound effects are nice and crisp, and I definitely had my headphones on while playing because the music tracks are fantastic. There's plenty of variety in the music, and it's all nice and upbeat and gets you going as you're playing these intense intense battles. If you are somebody who cannot look past what I consider some minor flaws, or if you're looking for an engrossing story, then Blackwind is not for you. But if you're like me, you can see past these flaws and have a fun time running around punching and shooting things while unlocking new ways to punch and shoot them. Before we go, I would like to take this time to thank our indie warriors: Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevilo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coil, Skeptism, Haley, Julian Colbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS8, Ray Lynn, Marky Mint, Dave Harp, Peekaboo, Lex Doyle, and Eric. Thank you once again for all of your love and support for us here at I Dream of Indie, and if anybody else would like to join them and become an indie warrior themselves, all the information is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, enjoy gaming.